Hey, all, welcome back. Welcome to episode 20. Thanks for joining me. First of all, I'd like to apologize right off the bat. Tonight's episode could get a little lengthy, so I do pre-apologize, but there's a lot of detail that we have to go over. So let's get into this. First of all, January 6th, 2021, a day that will live in infamy. For many of you out there, you look at it as a right-wing insurrection, and others just see it as a simple riot. Well, regardless of what it is, those that have actually caused damage and caused harm to others should be prosecuted and put in jail, flat out. So not at any point do I condone any violence towards any Americans, left or right. Now, about 6 days ago, Tucker started releasing footage that was provided by Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker of the House. And once this was done, the left-wing media started going crazy, started attacking Tucker, talking about how he's trying to downplay the events of January 6th. Well, I'm going to tell you something. That's a lie. He at no point tried to downplay what events happened on that day. And I'm going to show you, and I have proof. So we're going to go into a couple things tonight. And first, I want to play this, and this is from Tucker's show. This is what he opened with when he released the footage to the public.
These are the pictures you've seen of January 6th. They're familiar because they've been playing on a loop on every media outlet in America for the last 2 years. There's a reason for that. But it turns out there's quite a bit of video you haven't seen. And that video tells a very different story about what happened on January 6th. More than 40,000 hours of surveillance footage from in and around the Capitol have been withheld from the public. And once you see the video, you'll understand why. Taken as a whole, the video record does not support the claim that January 6th was an insurrection. In fact, it demolishes that claim. And that's exactly why the Democratic Party and its allies in the media prevented you from seeing it. By controlling the images you were allowed to view from January 6th, they controlled how the public understood that day. They could lie about what happened, and you would never know the difference. Those lies had a purpose. They created a pretext for a federal crackdown on opponents of the Uniparty in Washington.
Our office wanted to ensure that there was shock and awe, that we could charge as many people as possible.
The first thing you notice from viewing the full video record of January 6th is just how many people entered the Capitol building that day. Hundreds and hundreds of people, possibly thousands, over the course of about 2 hours. The crowd was enormous. A small percentage of them were hooligans. They committed vandalism. You've seen their pictures again and again. But the overwhelming majority weren't. They were peaceful, they were orderly and meek. These were not insurrectionists, they were sightseers. Footage from inside the Capitol overturns the story you've heard about January 6th. Protesters queue up in neat little lines. They give each other tours outside the Speaker's office. They take cheerful selfies and they smile. They're not destroying the Capitol, they obviously revere the Capitol. They're there because they believe the election was stolen from them. They believe in the system. Here's the man you've heard referred to as the QAnon shaman outside the Senate chamber. These are not rioters. These are people who wandered over from a political rally.
We will not let them silence your voices.
After the rally, they walked down Pennsylvania Avenue, where organizers had secured a federal permit to hold a legal rally on the grounds of the Capitol.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
Once at the Capitol building, things began to get chaotic. Capitol police officers fired tear gas into the crowd. A few at the front of the herd broke windows. Someone opened the doors, and many hundreds of others just walked in.
They're going to make that the story.
Of course, they did make it the story. And at the center of it, the single most famous person arrested that day was a Navy veteran from Arizona called Jacob Chansley, often referred to as the QAnon shaman.
The so-called QAnon shaman.
QAnon shaman.
Someone named Q Shaman.
Jacob Chansley became the face of January 6th. a dangerous conspiracy theorist dressed in outlandish costume who led the violent insurrection to overthrow American democracy.
So yeah, as you can see, he did not downplay this. In fact, there was actually 2 protests going on that day. One, you had the majority of those that were actually at the Capitol already during the actual certification of the election. The others, the peaceful protesters, were those that actually walked from Trump's rally. Now, you can see when you watch the beginning of this video that at no point did Tucker actually downplay this. He was just stating the facts. Now, this is amazing. You go straight from that to what CNN actually tries to say as well.
Offensive and misleading. That's how the chief of the U.S. Capitol Police is describing Fox News host Tucker Carlson's attempt to, in effect, rewrite history of the January 6th insurrection, describing it as a peaceful gathering. Speaker Kevin McCarthy, you may remember, gave Carlson access to tens of thousands of hours of footage from the Capitol attack.
Well, a number of his fellow Republican lawmakers, senators specifically, not too happy with Fox's decision to play that, with Tucker Carlson downplaying the insurrection.
It was a mistake, in my view, for Fox News to depict this in a way that's completely at variance with what our chief law enforcement official here at the Capitol thinks.
I was there.
So yeah, this is CNN trying to say that he was downplaying. He at no point downplayed the situation that happened on January 6th. What you're seeing is 2 different narratives. In fact, there were 2 different protests on January 6th. Those are those that have gotten violent, that actually did break through and enter the Capitol violently and did harm, individuals that were out there. There were others on the opposite side of the building that had absolutely no idea what this was even going on. So, but what we're going to do, because they're focusing in on the QAnon shaman, I'm going to show you guys a couple things here. And this is actually something else. This is the man who they say stormed the actual Capitol. Let's get this set up here. Sorry. All right, here we go, folks. This is the man that actually stormed. Just so you know, this is the one who stormed the Capitol. This is all his fault.
Respect our landmarks. Respect the Capitol. He said he saw on his Twitter account, Donald Trump.
We're going to pull up the tweet. Donald Trump has asked everybody to go home.
We're staying.
Okay, then stay, motherfucker. I don't give a shit. This is America. You guys want to stay? That's fine. Donald Trump has asked everybody to go home.
Yeah, hold on, wait. Read this. Hold on. Yeah, read this. Read it.
Donald Trump, quote, I am asking for everyone in the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful, no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect our law enforcement, and men and women in blue. No. Pull up the video. There's a video. Yeah, he has a video. He just tweeted it. I'll put it on here.
Beautifully broken glass is broken. We have made our
Okay, as long as it's Trump.
for sure.
Gonna listen to Trump.
At least make one more point.
No, dude. It's not going to make a point. You're just going to make yourself feel bad. Back it up, guys. Just back it up. We're not Antifa. We are not Antifa. We are not Antifa. Back it up. Back it up. We are not Antifa. We are not Antifa.
We will abide, but we want to be heard. This is the people's house.
Back it up.
Right. So as you can see, he wasn't violent at all. Now, that is just part one. There are two more parts to this that the media is not showing you. I'm going to show you those pieces of footage. Now, this next one I'm going to be showing you is from a leftist reporter stating that the shaman stormed into the Capitol. Now, what I'm going to show you, as you can see, there's a shaman right there in the film, in the pic. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to this video and just watch. Tell me what you actually see. You think? Do you see him storming into this building or not? Now, you can clearly see him in there. But watch it one more time. There he is. Now, was that storming into the Capitol? The left seems to think so. To me, it looks like he was in a crowd and he got pushed in. He had nowhere to go. He had to go forward. So you're going to tell me that's charging into the Capitol? I don't think so. And hold on, there's another view that the media is not showing you. And I'm going to show it to you. And see, and this is what is amazing about the internet. All of this information is out there, but it's up to you to actually do the searching. How many of you are really willing to do the work? Or are you just going to turn on the TV and believe what they tell you? Let's take a look at this. And you listen closely. This is subtitled. See that? Right even there, from the ground. There are individuals that were pushing them through the doors because they had nowhere to go. They didn't storm a building. They got caught up. Media's not going to tell you that. They're all storming the building. And that's what's sad. You have one side of the aisle that's trying to push an agenda, push a narrative, and it's filled with lies, half-truths. I mean, we have our January 6th committee comprised of both sides of the aisle. And you would think you're going to put together this case against all of these people that you have arrested, you have thrown in, prison. This man who's serving 4.5 years. 4.5 years. And the thing is, you know what? It's his fault. It's his fault he got that sentence because he admitted guilt. He admitted guilt for trespassing on a public building. In fact, he was not trespassing. It's a public place. It's a public space. And the whole point of this upload tonight is not this. Not so much this. What the real point of this is what the prosecution was doing to these people. All of this footage that's being released, those that have been incarcerated, been put to trial, their lawyers have come out and stated that they did not have access to this video. The whole point of the judicial system is to try someone by, a group of their peers based on evidence. And it has to be beyond reasonable doubt. Now, with this footage coming out, think of all those people that have actually been sitting in jail for these last few years. How many of them were actually given the just the just due to actually see all of the evidence, provided the lawyers with this footage. Based on just this little bit of evidence, a lot of these cases could have been overturned. But as you've seen in Tucker's clip, they were out for blood. They wanted to prosecute as many people as they possibly could, regardless of what they've done. It was to send a message to the MAGA populists. And it's not working. All they did is made them more resolved, more resilient. They're just going to fight harder and fight longer. And I don't mean that in a physical sense, but I'm talking about in the political arena. And what makes this even worse, there is an article in the Federalist. One of the members of the committee actually admitted they did not review any of the footage from January 6th. None of it. Everything that they put together in their big CNN, produced, nightly show they did for a couple weeks there, that they're, trying to make it look like a movie. In the selectively edited clips that they used in their trial, they didn't even review them. They had a team do it, and they didn't even do it well. They even admit in the article that they did an outside hire. They did an outside hire, have a little team to actually pick selected things, to exaggerate them, to make them look worse than they actually were. And he even says, I'm not actually aware of any member of the committee who had access. We had a team of employees who kind of went through the video. You would think you're doing we're talking about an insurrection. You would think you would do the due diligence in order to make sure you have a Loctite case. But they did, because they didn't provide any of the video evidence to the defendants. That is what your government is doing to you. Is that the type of system that we want to live under? I mean, on paper, what we're supposed to have, yes. But when you have people in power that are like this, that are actually usurping the Constitution, imprisoning people because they have different political beliefs, that's fascism. So often that the left actually comes at us and says, oh, the right's fascist. If you're anywhere to the right of anyone on the left, I'm talking like any Democrat. If you're just to the slight right to them, you're far right. But you look at this. They're the fascists. And all they're doing is projecting everything that they're saying that the right is doing, being Nazis, being racist, being fascists. They're the ones that are doing it. And see, and this is why Tucker's actually, putting out this information. And it shouldn't matter. It should not matter where the truth comes from, because that's what's important. We don't have to like the truth, but it has to be the truth. If it means it makes the Democrats look bad, or it makes the Republicans look bad, or it makes the media look bad, so freaking what? It's the truth. And that is what we deserve as people, as citizens of the United States. So it's up to every single one of you. Come election time, you know what you have to do. Vote these people out of office. Put someone different in there. Even if you don't like them, disregard the R or the D or whatever letter is next to that name. You can see they're openly lying to us. But there are so many of you out there that just don't care. You just turn on the damn TV and you just take whatever they say as fact. It's not. In just this little segment today, I have given you evidence to show you that what they are telling you on CNN, MSNBC, all your major news networks, they are lying to you. And they've been doing it to you for years. It's all production value. It's all for clicks. It's all about advertising. It's not about truth. It's not about distributing facts. So I am glad that this stuff is being exposed. Because one day, one of you is going to open your eyes and realize you've been asleep for so long. Everyone talks about, oh, you need to be woke. Shit. You guys ain't woke. I mean, you can't see outside of your freaking tunnel vision. You can't. You can't. They're liars. The committee lied to you, lied to all of us. They want to make an example of their political rivals. That is third world country. That is fascism. And that is the left. And if that's who you support, have at it. Have at it. All you're doing is just showing your true colors and who you are. You're not a true American. You're not a patriot. You're a fascist. So you guys know what to do come 2024. Vote these people out of there. No more of this uniparty bullcrap. Because that's what it is. That's what it all is. Make an example of those that actually are outside of the machine. So there. Well, anyway, I hope you got something out of this. I'm going to get going. I'm going to go watch a movie. I'm going to try and relax tonight. It's my day off, and I'm doing this for you. So anyway, be good. I'm getting out of here. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget, vote angry, kids. Good night.